Rob G. Evan Neal got himself in some hot water, offensive lineman for the New York Giants. Why don't you explain to us what was going on?
Oh, it's all bad in the city of New York right now, guys.
It is bad.
It is. Mets out, Yankees out.
Jets and Giants stink.
Horrible. Giants stink. Brooklyn and the Knicks. I mean, they're so.
Right.
Yeah. And now you got this mess.
So here's what happened. Giants right tackle Evan Neal on Monday night about halftime. They're going to the locker room and they're getting booed mercilessly by the MetLife crowd. So he kind of hyped him up as he's going into the tunnel. And the next day, NJ Advanced Media caught up with him and asked him about the incident. And here's how he responded. They were booing us, so I said, boo louder. Why would a lion concern himself with the opinion of a sheep? The person that's commenting on my performance, what does he do? Flip hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere? So obviously, that kind of got picked up. He tried to apologize with a statement on X. Didn't really go over well.
What did he say?
He said that, he let his emotions get the best of him. He didn't want to become a distraction. He apologized. And then since it didn't blow over, today, as soon as practice ended, he made a point to beeline towards the media and apologize again, saying, I'm very remorseful. I definitely could have used a better choice of words. Coming from humble beginnings myself, I never wanted to belittle anyone, regardless of their financial status or occupation.
And Chris, Don LaGreca, who's on the Michael K. Show, one of his co-hosts, he blew a gasket. Chris.
Really?
Oh my God, Don LaGreca. And
I usually hear them. I didn't hear this.
He blew a absolute gasket.
See if you can get the sound. Can we get sound of that?
It was
because I like LaGreca.
Yeah,
I think
I did a show with LaGreca, Chris, back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah, the ESPN.
I used to be on with him sometimes, as a guest. But yeah, he's.
But
good.
he went off, and you know what? I'm with Don LaGreca. Players can't do this, Chris. You gotta stop. Do we have the second? Just hear this, Chris. It's 90 seconds.
The full 90, so you get the full context.
Watch this. Listen to this.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'd cut his ass. I would. How dare you? How dare you? These people pay your salary. They pay an obnoxious amount of money to park, an obnoxious amount of money for PSLs, to sit there and watch this pap, and you call them hamburger flippers? What, you're so much better? I'd rather have a guy that's flipping hamburgers block than your piece of garbage ass. Who the hell are you to talk to fans like that? You piece of garbage. I hate when players do that. You're not above us. What, because you happen to play a sport? You make them, you're better than me? You're better than the people that pay your salary? These Giant fans were here before you, and they'll be here after your sorry ass is cut. What a piece of human trash. And I don't want to hear some apology. I don't want to hear, I was taken out of context. I don't want to hear, done. I would cut his fat ass.
Wow.
Oh, if I'm John Mara, I call him into the office and say,
I would.
You were a first-round pick, but you're not worth anything. You don't talk to our fans that way. You don't talk to me that way. You are out of a job.
Don LaGreca from ESPN New York. And Chris, he's spot on. I'm sorry. You cannot disrespect the people, the fans, no matter what. They are passionate. They show up. People give up, Chris, their disposable income. They're working regular jobs. They're giving up money to do other things when they got to pay $400, $500 to go to a game.
We've said it. I mean, we've been blessed because we're in the business to go to games for free for most of our life. I am astounded, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, how many fans go to these games because of the financial, can afford to go to these games. I'm shocked.
Chris, they love it. It's a part of this country's fabric, the sports leagues, and being a part of it and being in that crowd. You've been to games. There's nothing like it if your team wins and you're packed in with 50,000. Very few things in this world, Chris, can we all go somewhere together and be on the same page. It ain't politically and all kinds of other issues, but if it's the home team and they got a chance to win the Super
and
Bowl or
fans
World
go
Series.
when it's a bad team.
Right.
That's the thing. Most fans go when their team is bad.
You know what I mean? But there's a common bond there, and most people are on the same page. And when players do this and rip on fans and belittle them, oh, you're a hamburger flipper and you're this or that, it's just a shame. It's bad. It's bad. Don LaGreca, for him to blow a gasket, I'm not mad at him.
I love Don. I'm not mad at him at all blowing a gasket. It was very fun to listen to. I wouldn't cut Evan Neal. Would you cut him?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
But if I'm the Maras, Chris, I would have a talking to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't do that to our fans, right?
Somebody obviously spoke with him. I mean, he's not just coming out on Twitter and going to the media after practice because somebody, a friend said, yo, they going off on you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you know this. The PR department at the very
least probably had a heart attack when they saw it.
Right. Now, I'll say this. Evan Neal is human. And Rob, I was talking to Rob G about this earlier as we were discussing the topics. And I was saying, like if you and I, Rob, I mean, we were in Vegas for the fight a few months ago, I guess, as Crawford Spence fight. And we're walking through the casinos and things like that. And, fans are coming up, giving us love. We're taking pictures, all that. If we're walking through there, Rob, and people are like cussing at it, you guys suck.
Right.
I don't even know how you got a radio show throwing junk at it, whatever. Your natural inclination as a human being is going to be like, well, at least I got a show. Like, what did you do? Like, that's your natural inclination to get mad, to strike back. But my point is, I understand Evan Neal feeling that way. You guys have been getting smacked around. You're not happy with the situation as you're walking in for halftime. But no matter how much you feel that way, Rob, you can't do it. That's the thing. I don't blame him for feeling that way. Anybody that says they might not feel that way, you're lying. But you gotta be professional, and you can't do it because LaGreca's right. Ultimately, Rob, the fans pay the salaries. If the fans decide en masse that we're not going to these games anymore, we're not watching these games anymore, guess what? You're not making all those millions of dollars anymore.
And don't kid yourself.
And so you just got to be, just like you and I would have to be professional in a certain situation, so do the athletes. And, human beings, we all have situations where you got to bite your tongue.
Chris, even if somebody said that they didn't like you on the radio or television, you couldn't be in a sports bar like MFing people and making a scene. That's just it would be unprofessional.
Well, it would go viral.
Right.
People.
We've seen it.
Right.
What was that woman from ESPN with the parking attendant? You remember that?
Yeah, Brett. I think it was Brett McHenry or something like that.
Right. You remember that, Chris? And she was like, "Look at you. Look at the job that you're doing, or whatever."
Bad.
It was bad.
Everybody has moments they're not proud of, but you just got to be careful. Like it made her really look bad. I don't know her that well, but I don't know that. I'm not going to say she's a bad person because of that, but that was a bad moment, and a lot of people, that's all they know about you.
Right. That's all they remember. Right. No doubt about it. All right.
So yeah, it's tough. You just gotta, Rob. You gotta understand. Look, we benefit a lot, right? Evan Neal and athletes, Rob, don't like when you say it, but some of that is why you get the millions of dollars, and you got to take the negative. Like, we're in the public eye too, and we say we're on the lower level, but yeah, whenever you're in a public job, whether it's politician, actor, actress, athlete, somebody even like us, you're going to get criticism, and you have to just take it. And you understand, look, part of the benefit, though, is especially athletes and people at that level, you're making incredible amounts of money, and you certainly shouldn't belittle the people, about what they're making. And he's probably, I don't know what, I assume maybe he did come from humble beginnings. That's not unusual. So, yeah, you really got to check yourself when that's the
before
situation.
you wreck yourself.